the funky beat. The sun is shining, Rachel brings the heat. Wake up CEO, we're on repeat. Chicago, Sun Up City on the go. Rachel L. Gary on the radio. Tune in quick, hear the power flow. Wake up CEO, it's your daily show. Wake up, start the day with Zeal. Rachel's got the vibe, that's the real deal. CEO, it's time to feel the thrill. Morning grind, press play and chill. From the windy city, bringing major vibes. Rachel on the mic, keeping lives revived. Radio Chicago, where dreams arise. Wake up CEO to the skies. No more snooze button, no more delay. Rachel's voice making waves today. Feel the energy Chicago way. Wake up CEO, rise and sway. Wake up, start the day with zeal. Rachel's got the vibe, that's the real deal. CEO, it's time to feel the thrill. Morning grind, press play and chill. Wake up, start the day with zeal. Hey, Rachel's got the vibe, that's the real deal. CEO, it's time to feel the thrill. Morning grind, press play and chill.
This is Dr. Carolyn Stevens, the CEO of the BHC Media Group. And when you are looking for a strategy for self-leadership, get aligned with Wake Up CEO with host Rachel L. Gary every Wednesday from 3 to 5 p.m.
You know what time it is? Every Wednesday, 3 to 5, my Radio Chicago, Rachel L. Gary in the building. Wake up, CEO, let's go! Wake up, go Sam, set that tone. Wake up, every step you take, you claim that throne. Wake up, no more doubt, no time to stall. Wake up, boss up now, go get it on. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in. Wake up, I ain't waiting, now I go and take it. Built this from the ground, no way they break it. Consistency, my secret, watch me make it. Got that boss talk, now I ain't faking no. Lost, set the goal, now I'm grabbing the goal. And put in the work, now I'm taking control. The vision so clear, yeah, I already know. Every step I take, I'm ready to blow. Wake up, set that tone. Every step you take, you claim that throne. No more doubt, no time to stall. You boss up now, go get it all. Let's go, stay locked in, make it happen. Make it happen. Let's go, stay locked in, make it happen. Make it happen. No handouts, yeah, I made my way. Built my brand, now I paved my lane. I turn my losses into lessons. Now my grind got no recession. Yeah, they talk about chance, but I make my own. Yeah, I ain't waiting for fate, got a future to own. Yeah, every setback, just part of the game, game. But now I'm up, and they know my name. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in. Wake up. Success so sexy, put the work in, flexy. Late nights, no rest, but now my vision's hefty. They doubted, they laughed, now they watch from the back. Cause I turned every dream into bricks that stack. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in, go get it all. Every Wednesday, 3 to 5, my Radio Chicago, Rachel L. Gary taking you to the top. Boss up.
Hey there, hey there, hey there, CEOs. Welcome to Wake Up CEO. I am your host, Rachel L. Gary, and today we are diving in to something that is silently still in progress from some of the most talented people I know, their ego. Yes, that little voice that tries to protect you, but ends up preventing you. That familiar identity that wants to keep you comfortable while your destiny is calling on you to be higher. You know, guys know what I do on Wake Up CEO. We have candid conversations that dive into the CEO. That is you. That's that person that is clear in your actions, empowered by your choices, and owns your direction, and is ready to step into being the CEO of your life. Guys, this is the day before Thanksgiving. We are getting locked in so we can get ready to elevate above situations without our egos slowing us down. Y'all know what we do on Wake Up CEO. We dive right in. Everyone else can catch it on the replay. So for those who are watching me live on Facebook, on YouTube, the question of the day is, guys, when was the last time your ego was leading the way? Come on, guys. Drop that on in the chat, because I know sometimes our egos are holding us or walking with us and walking beside us and sometimes in front of us. And we got to take our opportunity to stand up and be the people that we are intended to be in the forefront. So let's dive into the power statement of the day. You can't rise higher if you're too busy protecting who you used to be. Ooh. On Wake Up CEO, when I pause, that just means take a second to let that sink in. You can't rise higher if you're too busy protecting who you used to be. Guys, you gotta let that go. Let it ride. It's all right. So we got Ari checking in. Hey there, Ari. If you guys are not locked in, Ari of Amazing Creation. She is the queen of cuisine, and she's checking in with us today. Guys, get locked in to her. She's going to drop her information in the chat. If you guys are on Facebook or YouTube, grab that link. And in a couple of minutes, I'll read that out to you guys on the air, because that's what we're talking about. We about to dive in. Guys, y'all know I speak candid on Wake Up CEO. So if your feelings are going to get hurt, that's your ego. If you're going to get upset at what I bring out, that's your ego. If you're ready to accept being the best version of you, stay locked in, because we about to dive in. And the first part of the show is always about my favorite part, being clear. Why does ego block elevation? We're gonna dive into it. I don't have no sleeves on, because guys, I needed some sleeves in Chicago right now. It is for a reason. We've got our first 30 degrees. I think it's like right now 20 degrees outside. You know, when that first wave of cold comes in, your body's shit is really cold because it hasn't acclimatized to the environment. But in the next week, I won't even care that it's cold outside. But we're gonna dive into why ego blocks your elevation. Because ego hates growth, because it hates change. Your ego is not ready to grow because it doesn't want to change the things that we believe that are working for us. I'm going to give you, for instance, remember on Wake Up CEO, I'm going to give actionable tips so we can get over this thing that's blocking us, this situation that's blocking us, the person that's blocking us. Yeah, it happens to be you. And it's okay, because today we're going to abolish that. Ego clings to the familiar, even when the familiar is harmful. And this is for instance. Are you a person who has a business, has a side hustle, has a job, has a couple other things that you're doing trying to make ends meet? And I'm a firm believer in, we got to have money in our pocket. But you know somebody who gives you some information that's going to help you find success, and not just do 20 things or or 8 things and running around doing them, or who's bringing to you about being focused, and you're like, well, I got this business, this business, this business, this business, but 6 of the 7 endeavors that you're working on are not making you any money. I want to make sure we stay locked into what I'm saying. If you're doing 7 things that are not making any money, this is when you got to be clear. Those 7 activities are not making you any money, but you're still holding on to those activities. Y'all know when I pause on Wake Up CEO, that means I want you to take that in and think about it. If we have 7 activities, I'll use myself for instance. All of my income when I made $20,000 or more, I bought property. My ego is tied to the fact that I'm a real estate investor. I had 2 projects that didn't go as planned. I am getting ready to sell those projects because they don't fit into my overall picture of my life of being at peace. My ego held on to them for the last 2 months when I should have already had a for sale sign on them because I wanted to say that I had buildings on the block in which I lived in. Now, I always speak truth, guys. My ego was saying, you're going to make this work. You can still make this work. But when I know from a business sense, it's losing money, not making money. Whom are we trying to impress? Because we should be impressing upon ourselves that we want growth. This is about stepping into who you are. So we got people in the chat. I don't want y'all to think that I forgot about you out there. So we got Ari. She says, go to IG or Facebook. Ari, amazing creations, amazing. I gotta taste one of these bowls that everyone talks about. I don't eat beef. All I eat is chicken and turkey. So if you got one of them bowls, let me know about them bowls. I got to give me one of them so I can be a testimony. So she says you could drop that line again. Absolutely. I appreciate that. She said, I needed to hear that one more time. And we got Stephanie checking in of Real Life Topics Podcast. Guys, Stephanie is a phenomenal person. I am going to have the opportunity to be on her show on December 4th. I cannot wait. We had an amazing conversation. She is so insightful. Guys, get locked into that Real Life Topics Podcast. I am all about celebration and collaboration over here. And then Stephanie says, true. I know that's what it's about. And she said, I got you a chicken hibachi bowl. You got to break down them ingredients. What's a chicken hibachi bowl? Guys, I don't eat much takeout. So when people bring stuff to me, I always am like, man, what is that? What is that? Bring it on up. We got to get me one of these. And then I'm make sure it's a Wednesday so I can eat it so I can bring it in here. We can talk about the flavors. Now, when I eat, I'm going to make sure I talk about how it is flavorful and those things. So we make sure that you guys get you one too. And she dropped where you guys can get with her. And that was Ari's Amazing Creations. Get locked in on IG or Facebook. But as we were talking about the ego, so everybody who's in the chat, if you guys could do me a favor, let's answer that question of the day. When was the last time your ego led? Right now, I'm talking about the last time my ego led. And it was when I didn't pivot immediately. As a business person, you have to know when to pivot. And when you're losing $4 to $5 grand a month, it's pivot time. If you're losing $4 to $5 grand a month and you don't have and there's not a strategy to recoup that money or a strategy to turn that investment, that business adventure positive, you have to know when to say, okay, the business is not running correctly. So you shift gears, or the thing in which you're working with is not going to have a return on investment in a timely manner. You have to assess those things. So those are things as business owners, when we put on our big pants and our big underwears and all that stuff, and we line up to be the person who's being the CEO of your life. So I had to take that pill. drink me some water, make a phone call, and say, put that up for sale. The decision became very easy when I remembered why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm building a legacy for my children. Am I leaving a legacy of debt? Leaving a legacy of things not being set up correctly? Am I leaving a legacy of explaining to hold on things emotionally? Or am I leaving a legacy of growth and development? Am I leaving a legacy of building? Am I leaving a legacy of understanding your business, assessing your business, and growing your business when I decided who the person I wanted to be? Take a second there. Because that's what we're going to do about our ego. When you decide the person you want to be, then your ego has to get checked right then and there. And that's because it wants to cling to the familiar. So we got to challenge your first reaction. When things are happening, are you first reacting to it emotionally or knowledgeably? Are you looking for the mental connection, or are you looking for the emotional connection? And I'm not going to tell you guys nothing you don't already know. When we emotionally assess a situation, are we worried? Are we thinking with how we feel about it? Or are we thinking on how it helps our life grow? Because those are the main things we got to worry about. Is my life growing? And is an emotional line? That is when we start dropping that ego. So you have to ask, is this protecting me or preventing me? So because the building was preventing me from turning a profit, it wasn't protecting me with me saying I had a building in the neighborhood. Well, in that specific neighborhood. I'll buy another property in the neighborhood. I'll just look at something differently. But it's having that understanding of your why. Why do you want it? And getting over your emotional attachment to it. Guys, we just getting locked in. We're getting locked in. So get Ari checking in again. It almost happened today. I literally cannot add another Thanksgiving order and almost took an order today, knowing it would be horrible for me. I'm already cranky. Frankie, tomorrow, I would have been sleeping Sarah tomorrow instead of enjoying my family tomorrow. Absolutely. And it's all right. All money ain't good money. But I'm going to tell you what we're going to do for Ari next year. Ari next year is going to already have these ingredients written down. We're going to have her 4 support people so she can take 4 times as many orders, because then that way Ari's business doesn't hinge on just Ari making all the work. We're going to get her a team together. That's how we going because right now she's turning down good money, but she's turning down good money for a good reason. Peace. Peace, man, there's not a price tag on peace, guys. Not at all. I want peace above everything else. And I know that's what Ari just said. I want peace. I want peace to enjoy, peace to be in the moment, peace to just relax. You know, I've had so many conversations this week just about peace and about how we disturb our peace for situations that are not serving us. And I heard a young lady, and this is, I believe it was on TikTok. She said, I am willing to change my life without, to think of my life without you, other than changing my standards of being with you. That was a whole bar right there. That's a whole bar. Because sometimes we're with somebody because they're in our lives, not because they need or are adding value to our lives. Guys, that's that ego. We got to let that stuff go. And lessons aren't attacks. They are alignment. So when a situation happens and there's a lesson, take the lesson as you're learning. That's what it's for. The lesson is for you to learn, for you to grow, for you to understand, for you to get some information that you need. It's for you. I want y'all to hear it. It's for you. Things are not happening to you. They're happening for you. Because when you get locked into that lesson, get locked into those things, you don't feel attacked. You're looking for the lesson. It went wrong. You're like, okay, what went wrong? How did it go wrong? As opposed, man, this thing went wrong again. See, that's when you feel under attack when a situation happens. But when you're looking for that lesson, because you're on a search and find mission to figure out how you don't make the same mistake twice. Not that you're going to stop and pause. See, the ego stops and pause because he wants to go back to comfortable. Man, I really didn't want to do that anyway. I knew it was going to fail. Those are the conversations the ego is going to say, as opposed to the conversation of the productive, greater version of you is like, okay, what did I miss, or what didn't go right, or what happened in the situation that the lesson I need to learn from, because that lesson is going to be needed for the next chapter of your life. It's going to be needed for the next thing that you're trying to do. You got to elevate. Elevation requires correction, reflection, and redirection. That's what elevation does. When you make the decision that you're going to be the better version of you, you got to treat those setbacks as feedback. Feedback to fuel you. Feedback to uplift you. Feedback to grow you. That's what it's about. Without that feedback, you don't know what happened. You don't know why it went wrong. The second that you say that I knew it wasn't going to work, you stop right there. You pause right there. And we got Ari checking in, speaking. She said, speaking into existence. Yes, CEO, especially with those 8 customers, we gonna get those customers into her. So next year, y'all get locked into those. Get already. She gonna have a waiting list because she gonna start this so much sooner. She gonna have a waiting list of people like, hey, I'm gonna get your dinners on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Thursday's her day. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This is gonna be where all you need to do is put this in the oven for 30 more minutes to heat it up and let it finish cooking. Put this little juice on it. Boom, your meals are ready. Boom. So then, that's when you stretch it out a little bit, but you also give it all those people the product. Then she's gonna have 2 or 3 other people that are working with her. So that means that they're all able to say, on Monday, y'all get these. On Tuesdays, y'all get these. On Wednesdays, y'all get these. And all of them still gonna be fresh. Y'all eat we eat that food from the restaurants that been sitting in their freezer for a month. So her food gonna be fresh and still good. Get locked in already. Then we got Stephanie saying, yes, peace. Stephanie. I protect my peace with a shotgun, so I'm about peace. And she said, yes, elevation. Absolutely. We got to be above it. But not above it so much, whereas in you're above finding out the lesson. You have to be above the point of where you're saying that, man, I knew it wasn't going to work. Any endeavor that you are undertaking is something in it for you. It's something in it for your growth. It's something in it for your next level. So you want to take you're looking for it. I'm telling you guys, I look for something to fail every single time I start. And not in a way of, man, I know it's going to fail. It's like, I'm looking at something's going to happen. I prepare my mind that, hey, something's going to happen. When it don't, it's like, yes. Something happens. Okay, now how do I figure out what to do so it doesn't happen again? Either way, positive. Too positive, stay positive. A positive and negative. Hey guys, we're going back to old geometry, old algebra. A positive and a negative is still a negative. Two positives are always a positive. More positives, you don't never get to the negative. Two negatives equal a positive. That's what you hear, but that ain't possible. But when the situation happens, how you take it makes it where you take it to being positive. And guys, you know what your next level requires. I'm gonna give y'all a second. So if you guys are watching this online, let's answer that question real quick. So the question of the day is, when was the last time your ego led? We're gonna dive into that. But your next level requires what? You, a new you. To have something new, you must be someone new. Because the old you has done everything that it could possibly do. So you have to step into what's next. You know how you got to step forward? If you're trying to get in your car and you inside the house, what do you got to do? You got to make a move. If you want to get some more money, you got to make a move. If you want to have a more efficient business, you got to make a move. So that means a new version of you got to step into that. The version of you that did it, the version of you who wanted to stay on the couch has to put clothes on to go outside to do what they want to get done. That's a new version of you, because a version of you wanted to sit on the couch. That's the comfort. It's okay to be comfortable. I am a firm believer in being comfortable. I'm comfortable with life being uncomfortable. You got to be comfortable with it not being comfortable. You got to be okay that you're going to grow. Okay that you're going to learn something new. Okay that you're going to find out new information. Okay that you're ready to grow. You got to be okay. You ain't got to like it. You have to embrace it for your growth, because you're going to like the outcome. We're looking for that outcome at the end. The reason for the goal in the first place. What were we trying to get locked into in the first place? That's what we're going to be talking about. We getting locked into that. We getting locked into that person. Because once you get locked into that person, you're able to say, okay, then, all right, when something new comes up, I'm ready. I'm locked in. So, because you can't become who you're destined to be while you're defending who you always been. You have to release the version of you. Release. And what I mean by release is release the things that did not go well. You got to release the things that have not served you. You have to release the pain. You have to release the person who has not done what they were supposed to do by you. You got to release all of those things to step into the next level of you. That's what we own over here on Wake Up CEO. So when we lock in here every Wednesday from 3 to 5 on My Radio Chicago, we're locking into being the version of you that is ready to accept the information that's going to help you grow. I just want to remind you of who you are. That's what it's about, guys. I'm just reminding. Because I know some awesome people who are hiding inside of a situation that they should have let go. I know some awesome people who are like, man, if that person called me one more time, and then they call, you answer the phone. Yeah. Why? If the new version of you is stepping up, you got to let that old dried up conversation, that old dried up line that they use, baby, I love you, baby, I miss you, baby, this is what happened. We laugh about those lines, but those are the same things that we take into our lives. So we're going to let Goddess on High play, and y'all got to get locked in right here on My Radio Chicago. Stay locked in for the empowerment segment. Also, the Author's Corner, that we have a special book that award nominated and award winning book that's going to be on Author's Corner. And get locked into the leadership 3-point play, man, by Say I'm Possible Academy, where self-leadership gets GPS. So we got Goddess on High. Get locked in.
Is this burning in the air? Flowers in my hair, crystals at your
My questionnaire. The questions were just very exact and to the point of what I needed. And when I met with her in my one-on-one session, I found it to be very profound.
Excited for this. This is something I really need and something I've been looking for a while.
It's an assessment. Like, it asks questions that make you think deep about what you want your life to go. It's an assessment.
The 10-week financial focus plan she gave me helped me to see it in a better way where it would make money.
It was basically a reality. Something that looked like a dream, but in reality it was nothing but a shift of mindset. It's a state of mind.
Out and moving to the greatness we all know lies within who? You CEOs. See you next week, right here on CEO State of Mind.
Questions were exact and to the point of what I needed, but immediately I was able to apply some extra income come immediately this past week.
Charging $150 for these classes. So I had 30 people show up each day. I charge $150 and like $400.
I've gotten like three more clients since I revamped again, and I'm really grateful for that.
I actually hit my goal. I think I was at 158. And so this week I'm now at 170 RSVPs for my lunch party.
I have been uploading consistently, sharing it, and also promoting and marketing on. I did build up my own team as well. The business, I also did crack in another client.
Welcome to the CEO Mastermind.
Appreciate you guys getting locked in with me.
I'm looking to get to the cash.
courageous, this one needed, not afraid to cry. Used to play the big.
There's a new TV network on the scene.
I will walk like a CEO, think like a boss. Every setback I had turned to gain, not lost. Mind on clarity, feet on grind. Built from the truth, that CEO state of mind. Power in my steps, vision in my lane. I don't follow waves, I create my name. This ain't hype, this purpose designed.
All right, and welcome back to my radio Chicago. This is Wake Up CEO. I am your host, Rachel L. Gary. We are now still locked in to how to elevate without ego. How we gonna let that ego go? We gonna let that go. We got to get rid of it. And the question that we're on today is, when was the last time your ego led? Drop that information in the chat. Let me know your thoughts as you guys jump in. I appreciate everybody who's locked in with me right now on YouTube, Facebook, as well as Instagram, and all of you great people who are on Support District Radio. Please stay locked in right here. Every week we got some awesome shows. My show is awesome, but we also have some other awesome artists. So if you guys want to stay locked in, you want to go to Support District Radio, /stations/Chicago, and stay locked in, or download that 365 app. At the end of the day, keep locked in with us. Take us on the go, because you might not be friends with the personality if you're watching this live. I want to make sure you guys stay locked into powerful messages, powerful conversations, powerful music, powerful personalities, guys. Just stay locked into my radio Chicago. You're going to get some greatness no matter whom you listen to. But I'm glad you guys are locked in today with me. So we jumping into that empowerment piece. So we're going to talk about the tools that elevate you without ego. Let's get to it. We're going to start breaking down strategies and everything. We got to break down the strategy that helps us actually find success. And humility as a strategy. Being humble. Humility isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Being humble allows you to be approachable. Especially if you're a business owner, you want people to be able to approach you, want to work with you. When you think fondly of yourself, I'm going to use that word. And it's not thinking that your product is good. It's when you overly extend the fact that I'm great. You can feel that you are a great individual, but that doesn't mean that we must downplay our growth. I want to make sure we hear why I said it that way. Because the person that you used to be is the one that's bragging. But the person that you want to be is the person that is inviting. So you got to prepare yourself to pause, listen more than you defend. You got to listen to what people are saying to you, more so than defending a mindset that doesn't serve you. So when something happens, you have to pause before you react. And you want to respond with an intent. If you're new to Wake Up CEO, this is a statement that I make. I don't have to be right. Your ego is what has to be right. I don't have to be right. So since I don't have to be right, it's okay when someone has an adverse opinion to mine. I don't see that as an argument. When someone is debating a point, I don't see that as they don't believe me. I don't see that as in they don't respect me. I believe everyone has the right to think and feel the way that they feel. Am I hoping to change someone's mind in a sense of when I know something could be better for them? Yes. But I want them to be able to accept it so they can figure out for themselves and have discernment that if it's going to work in their life. See, when you're a coach, this is how you think. And because I'm a coach, this is how I think. When you're coaching somebody, you're presenting them with options. And if they don't like any of those options on the menu and they decide to go a totally different way, that doesn't make your options wrong. It makes your options not align with their current vision. You got to see how that was framed. Because I frame it in a way where I'm not feeling that I'm defended. I don't feel offended. But when you think and when you're thinking in terms of your ego, them not taking your advice would offend you. You will get offended if someone asks you 10 times and they don't ever take your advice. I'm never offended. I just don't give my advice anymore. That's not an offense. That's me taking the opportunity to understand that sometimes you have to step back and just listen. And you got to be curious over controlling. You have to be curious on their creativity so you can be clear. Because sometimes we'll start arguing a point before we're even clear on what the point is. Because we live in the place of where we're set to respond. We're already ready to talk before we even heard what was going on. Hey, guys, my wife talks to me about this often. She used to talk to me about it often. I worked on it. So I don't talk from those places. Speaking of my wife, there she is. She says, hello, CEOs. Hello, the queen of the CEOs. And I'm a firm believer in when someone brings something to me, I feel obligated. Excuse me, let me rephrase that. I felt obligated to listen or obligated to take it to heart. as opposed to I listen with the intent to now understand. I'm not listening with the intent to respond or react to the situation. I'm listening with the intent to understand what that person is trying to bring to me, what information they're trying to get me to know about, the information that they're trying to get me to decide or chime in on. That's how you check in correctly. And no one is offended because everyone feels heard. And also, it allows you to feel heard. Remember on Wake Up CEO, we pause and stuff, so we let that sink in. Because sometimes you're not even listening to yourself because you're talking so fast. You haven't given your mind an opportunity to really capture what the whole conversation is about before you responded. So you might lose sight of some information that you really need because you were so quick to answer, so quick to react. So, gotta be curious on, what is the reason they're telling me this? And when you get curious on, I wonder why they're talking to me about this, then you're trying to hear in the conversation why they're trying to talk to you about this. See, that was one small thing. When you tell yourself that, I wonder why they're talking to me about this, it automatically opens you up to want to know the why. You're trying to understand the why. And that opens you up to stop just listening to speak. And you're listening to understand. Man, guys, I'm trying to drop gems on Wake Up CEO. Y'all got to get locked in. So as you come in the room, when was the last time you led with ego? If you are on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, please drop the answer to that question. When was the last time your ego led a situation? When you knew your ego was you were ready to defend what was going on, or you were ready to step into it and you weren't even ready to hear what anyone else had to say, or even who you want to be, you didn't let that person show up. You let the person that you were handle a situation. Take that in, CEO, take that in. And you have to have accountability without shame. You got to be accountable to what's going on in your life and not be ashamed if something did not work out. Because accountability builds character. Ego builds excuses. When you have excuses about a situation, and there's a difference in having excuses and some things happened. But if the things that happen stop you from doing your commitment, you got to check, was that an excuse? I just really didn't want to do it. And I gave myself easy out. Guys, hey, we got to identify. That's why we got to be clear. We got to identify when the things are taking place. So, because as we identify them taking place, we're able to say, okay, this happened, and I'm accountable for my call on that. I'm accountable for my decision, and I'm not going to be upset that I did not do what we deem to be the right thing. I'm going to accept that I didn't do it. I'm owning my choice. Remember the CEO, clear your actions. Empowered by, okay, come on now, we're going to get into it. And owning our directions, empowered by our choices, owning our direction. So, because when you're doing that, you're able to own the choices without beating myself up. I just stop. I pause. And sometimes you have to just pause. You upset about something that happened, And if you're not holding yourself accountable to, okay, I made the decision. I am going to take ownership. I am going to take the lesson from it. And whatever that lesson is, I'm going to utilize that when I do X, Y, and Z again. That brings that positive spin back to you're learning, you're growing, and you're developing because you moved out of your comfort zone. As you move out of your comfort zone, you're going to fail. If you think that there's a situation that you're going to come up to, that you're going to always be successful, it's always going to work. You're always going to have the resources. You're always going to have the answers. You're always going to have everything you need. It's not going to happen. Prepare yourself right now. I'm not going to have enough money. Or how about we say it this way? There's a possibility there won't be enough money. There's a possibility it won't go right. There's a possibility I don't have all the answers, but I'm moving forward anyway because this is where I'm this is where I'm going next. You don't have enough money. You already knew that. You didn't have all the answers. You already knew that. It might have failed. You already knew it could possibly do so. And the fourth thing is you move forward anyway with the knowledge that you need more money, with the information that it failed, and that's a lesson you're going to take from it. This is how you reframe the situation where it doesn't overwhelm you and you're not allowing your ego to step up. Because when you're elevating, because we're talking about how to elevate, you got to be ready for the situation to come your way. Be ready that the inevitable can happen. And when it does, you're like, okay, I knew you were coming, but I got a plan for you anyway. I'm going to take that lesson from you. Thank you. That's a lesson. Put that in my pocket and I'm still going. And you got to replace the why me with what now. Because remember, things are not happening to us. They're happening for us. To us means somebody is intentionally doing it. For us means it's for your growth. I'd rather something be for my growth than something that somebody hit me. Because, I mean, you hit me, I might want to fight back. See, that's your ego. But if it's for me, I'm taking that present. Like, thank you. This is going to help me be more resilient the next time. This is going to help me build differently next time. This is going to help me get more next time. See, those conversations are different. Those thought processes are different. That emotion is different. Because one emotion is all about celebration and the other one is all about deterioration. And we're about building over here on Wake Up CEO. I know y'all about building. I'm about building. I know I'm talking to some great individuals out there who's all about building, growing, and developing, being the best CEOs of your life. So we're going to jump into Hub, and you guys stay locked in right here on my radio, Chicago Support District Radio. Up next is going to be the Author's Corner, where we're going to be talking Author's Corner that is sponsored by Distinguished Authors, where your literary excellence is rewarded. You can go to Distinguished Authors Guild Facebook group to get locked in for next year award ceremony, because this year's award ceremony was phenomenal. Guess what? I am an award-winning author of my book, #Poverty to Six Figures, as well as Forest and Fire. So get locked into the Distinguished Authors Guild and get your book locked in. So and that's going to come in the top of the hour, where we're going to be talking about the award-winning book by Seant'a Conyers. Get locked in right here on my radio, Chicago.
Questions were exact and to the point of what I needed, but immediately I was able to apply some extra income come immediately this past week.
Charging $150 for these classes. So I had 30 people show up each day. I charge $150 and we're like 40.
I've gotten like three more clients since I revamped again. And I'm really grateful for that.
Is I actually hit my goal. I think I was at 158. And so this week I'm now at 170 RSVPs for my lunch party.
I have been uploading consistently, sharing it, and also promoting and marketing on. I did build up my own team as well. The business, I also did crack in another client.
Welcome to the CEO Mastermind.
Christ raise me right. I'm a soldier, yeah. It's a whole wave pulling up like a tidal. Let that old man do not know him. I'm a disciple now, giving all my.
My questionnaire, the questions were just very exact and to the point of what I needed. And when I met with her in my one-on-one session, I found it to be very profound.
Excited for this. This is something I really need and something I've been looking for a while.
Dismantling is an assessment. Like, it asks questions that make you think deep about what you want your life to go. Dismantling is an assessment.
The 10-week financial focus plan she gave me helped me to see it in a better way where it would make money.
It was basically a reality. Something that looked like a dream, but in reality, it was nothing but a shift of mindset. It's a state of mind.
Out and moving to the greatness we all know lies within who?
There's a new TV network on the scene.
I will walk like a CEO, think like a boss. Every setback I had turned to gain, not lost. Mind on clarity, feet on grind. Built from the truth, that CEO state of mind. Power in my steps, vision in my lane. I don't follow waves, I create my name. This ain't hype, this purpose designed. I live loud in my CEO state of mind.
They want the crown, but not the pain. I made my peace inside the flame. Ownership, that's every choice. I don't fold, I found my voice. Every win, that's earned, not luck. Every no, just fuel I tuck. I'm not here to break or blend. I break the mold and set new trends. Mindset strong like steel and gold.
Do you feel stuck? Like your dreams are just out of reach? It's time to change that narrative. Use life's setbacks to fuel the fire within. I'll walk you through the exact steps I took to move from $7 an hour to multiple six-figure success. The roadmap includes practical strategies, real-world mindset shifts, and the habits that help me rise against the odds. Welcome to Hashtag Poverty to Six Figures, a journey that goes beyond just financial success. This is about breaking free from the cycle and claiming your desires, transforming your life, unlocking your potential, and finally living the life you deserve. Get your copy today. Start your journey towards financial freedom. Are you ready?
Six figures couldn't change my mind.
All right, welcome back to my radio Chicago. This is Wake Up CEO with your host, Rachel L. Gary. I am so appreciative that you guys are still locked in, and we are now about to jump into the author's corner. Man, guys, this book, Being Pretty is Hard Work by Seant'a Conyers. Man, let me give y'all some 3 key takeaways that I got from this book. Transformation begins when ego ends. So Rebecca's journey shows that pretending to be pretty outwardly while broken inwardly keeps you stuck. Healing requires humility. And why is that so important? Because when you are broken, it's difficult for you to start moving into the person that you need to be because you're living on all of the pain of the past. So getting healing, closing chapters, growing into the person that you need to be is imperative for you to move forward as a CEO in your life. That's why that part was so it was so important that I brought that up on today's show. So this is the second thing that came from there. Healing requires honesty. You got to be honest. And being honest with yourself is the first thing. She had to face uncomfortable truths about her relationships, her childhood wounds, her patterns, and that's really elevation. The reason why it's elevation is it takes strength. It takes strength to deal with things from the past. It takes strength to face that your past was not great. It takes strength to deal with the pain of your past, but it's necessary. I'm going to take something that I did in my life to deal with the pain and pressures from the past. I wrote a note. You know that sometimes that we're always looking for closure in a relationship, closure from an individual. We're looking for someone to acknowledge that they did something wrong, acknowledge that they wronged us, acknowledge that they didn't care about us. We whatever that is, we want them to acknowledge that our feelings are valid. Why? I'm gonna take a second there. The reason being is that we don't want them. They do not have to validate how we feel. They don't have to validate if it's appropriate for us to feel that we were wrong. If we actually felt hurt, we are not, because we're not looking with our ego. We're not looking if we were right. We're not looking if it matters. We felt hurt. We feel that we were not supported. We feel however we felt. So what I did was I wrote a note. So I wrote a note to the individual because I wasn't looking for them to say that, hey, I did you wrong. Or, hey, I didn't do the right things. Or, hey, I acknowledge that I did this and I apologize. I wrote it all down, how I felt. I acknowledged that that pain existed in me. I went to the fire, made a little fire in a bowl, and dropped the paper in the bowl. It sounds simple. It was not, because I accepted that that's how I felt. I didn't just throw the paper away. I put the paper in the fire to burn any thoughts that were along with that paper of me being inadequate. I burned every thought of me not being enough. I burned every thought of that I owed that person something else. Burning that meant that I accepted that I'm flawed, that I have scars, and I'm ready to heal. So the burning of the paper was really just symbolic of that I was ready to heal. And I didn't need validation from someone else to do so. It makes me a more well-rounded individual. My peace isn't manufactured. I live peacefully. When something is interrupting my peace, I'm going, wait, whoa. Hold on. We got Carolyn Stevens jumping in. She says, that's right. I appreciate you. And she says, as long as you get it out, that's the only thing that counts. Even if you never get an apology from the person causing the offense. Love that. Because at the end of the day, their apology will not change the past. So this was the third point that I got from being pretty is hard work. And this is by, as I said, by Seant'a Conyers. Her name is in the chat. You guys go ahead and grab a copy of the book. I will also drop the link down there for you guys, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we support great authors who are bringing great works, who are giving us information that is allowing us to find ourselves, be ourselves, and grow with ourselves. And this book was definitely one of them. And elevation begins when you choose God over image. I take a second on that pause. We will pray for enlightenment, but don't accept it. We pray for better days, but don't step towards them. We pray for food on our tables, but will not get up to go make sure there's more. We are looking outside of ourselves for the handout. God lies within you, in you, through you, with you. And all of the gifts that he gave you are how you build you, grow you, develop you. Ask for I'll use myself for instance. I ask always for understanding of the plan. I ask for guidance within me. Now, I'm not saying that we can't ask for discernment, that we can't ask for more money, more houses, more cars, or whatever that is that you need in your life for your life to be fulfilled. But you have to step with it. Pray, act. Pray, act. Have faith, act. Walk with the knowledge, with the faith, but be in action with it. It's a combination. Combine that. You have breath and life. That's a gift. You have abilities to do, be, and have. That's a gift. If you have a roof over your head, that's a gift. These are things to be grateful for. Start with being grateful for what you have and work for what you want. Be grateful for what God has given you. The ability, the knowledge, the breath, people around you that are helping you be uplifted. The ability to make a decision, a choice every day to either move this way towards you or stay here against you. So we got to stay focused on that. And all of this came from me reading a part of the book. And I want you guys to get locked in with that book. And that was Being Pretty is Hard Work by award-winning author Seant'a Conyers. Get locked in. Her name is in the chat, and the copy of the link of her book will be there as well. So now we're jumping into y'all know we get to my favorite parts of the show. Ownership. Locked in, get locked in. Because now we're gonna own how we're gonna elevate. So we got Dr. C jumped in. She said, you better say it. Be grateful for what you have before asking for more. Absolutely. Your plate runneth over already. There's many people who didn't wake up today. There's many people who cannot see, talk, walk, breathe without assistance. But it is also those same people who can't see who are multimillionaires because they use their other senses. There are people who cannot walk but still have multi-million-dollar businesses because they use their other talents. There are people who don't have arms or legs who run races and win because they're grateful for having the abilities still to move, the abilities to have the mental agility to still think. So we have to be grateful for the things we have and be moving forward to the things that we want. I'm not saying stop. I'm saying don't stop. I'm saying be grateful. I'm saying grow with the gratitude. Because when you appreciate what you have, more can come your way. But if you don't even appreciate the gifts you got, that's when you're not using those gifts properly. That's when you're not walking in faith. You're just talking about faith. It's when you're not growing towards it. This is how we're elevating and getting rid of the ego. The ego is the one who is allowing all these things, who's like, I'm supposed to have that stuff. I'm supposed to have breath. I'm supposed to have sight. I'm supposed to have limbs. That's ego. We got to let the E go. We got to let go of all of those things. Today, when you woke up, you had the ability to make a change, make a difference, move differently. And on Wake Up CEO, I'm just hoping I drop information that allows you to move forward in that direction. So now we're going to jump into that ownership, because we're going to rise high with humility. Because you cannot elevate if you refuse to look at you. Ego finds flaws. Ownership reveals opportunity. Take that a second again. Ego hides flaws. Ownership reveals opportunity. Same situation, different scenario. As I was speaking earlier about the buildings that I'm going to relinquish and go ahead and sell. My ego wanted to hold on to those buildings because I bought them. That's me hiding a flaw in my character. When I owned that having the buildings was about profitability, then it reveals the opportunity of what I can do next with selling the buildings and buying property that aligns with my peace. If you guys, if you knew to Wake Up CEO, my ultimate goal is always to have peace. I have other goals, but everything rolls up to me staying in peace. Peace with myself, peace with my environment, peace with other individuals. But peace takes you being ready for that and being honest about where you need to grow. Where is your opportunity for growth? And actually getting information to grow that opportunity. Taking the information to grow that opportunity. You got to ask yourself this question. This is one life-changing question. What part of this is mine? Not for blame, but this is for breakthrough. You want to break through to the future, you. You want to break through to the person that you want to be. So present. So I have a thing about, I remember the past, live in the present, and prepare for the future. And to prepare for the future, you have to get ready. You have to prepare for you. Who you are, who you want to be. Who you are and who you want to be. And that's when you have to find out what part of this is mine. What part of the things that have happened so we can rise higher and not stay in ego. Because this is how we're going to elevate. We're going to elevate, celebrate, and collaborate for growth. That's what Wake Up CEO is all about. Collaboration over competition. Competition breeds ego. I got to be better. I got to win. It's all about me. That's ego. Collaboration is all about growth. Oh, I love what she's doing. That was nice. Even if you're on let's say that you both have the same company. You both have the same kind of company. I do coach, a leadership and coaching. So if as a leadership coach, I work with another coach. And if you guys have been watching, I just was on on Jeff Relaford's podcast, and that's life coach Jeff Relaford's podcast. He's a life coach. The reason why I can share spaces with individuals like that, because I'm not in competition. I'm in collaboration. There's only one life coach, Jeff Relaford, and there's only one, Rachel L. Gary. And we might offer some of the same techniques, but we present them in different ways. And even if we presented them the same, I still am going to celebrate growth. Because that's when your ego isn't leading the way. You want to be the best version of you every day, not better than him. I'm not trying to be better than Jeff Relaford. I'm trying to be better than the Rachel L. Gary that exists today, tomorrow. And the only way you can be the better version of you is if you figure out what's going on. We're going to take a step back, guys. We're going to take a step back because we want to make sure that we got all these steps in. Being clear. We're going to let our ego go and be preparing for change. This is us being clear. We're going to get aligned. And we're going to be getting ready for the next level that requires the new us. That's when we getting clear. Because when you get clear, you can start making change. You can't make a change if you're not clear on what the issues really are or what the situations actually are. And how to elevate is what we're talking about. Empowerment piece. Get your strategy. It's about wisdom. Curiosity over control. We want to be curious about conversations. We want to be thinking when we hear a conversation, why are they talking to me about this? Because when you ask the question why, you're waiting for an answer from the conversation. Or you're listening for the reason why they're even talking. That's being curious, where you're giving an opportunity so you can make it so you're not looking to just react to a conversation, you're looking to understand. Then we get to be accountable without shame. Yes, I own what took place. I'm not going to feel bad about what took place. I'm going to build from the lessons I learned about the situation. That's what we learned in the empowerment piece. These are guys, these are just things that I'm dropping so you can put these in your tool belt when you're trying to elevate. Which I know everybody on Wake Up CEO is trying to elevate and be a better version of themselves. Because when you're trying to be the better version of you, you ready. You sitting like this double dutch, like, all right, it's my turn, it's my turn, it's my turn, it's my turn. When this row go, boom. Hey guys, y'all got to get locked in. I've been watching some people doing double dutch lately. Yeah, that was just on my mind. But that's how we elevate. And you got to own your reactions. Because elevation happens in how you respond. Because ego reacts. Leaders like you and you and you and you in the chat respond. Because your next level is never found in defensiveness. It's found in discipline. So that's why we had to learn how to listen to understand. Because when you put all this together, you're able to elevate and let your ego, what we're going to do, let that E go. And when you slow down before you react to a situation, take a breath. It allows you to take in the information. Let your mind think about the information so you can give a intelligent, knowledgeable response. Because that's what you're trying to do as a CEO. You want to be understood like the person who you're talking to wants to be understood. Have you noticed that when you're yelling and they're yelling that you didn't hear, that you are not listening, you're trying to prove a point. That's your ego trying to prove that you're right. But when you're listening to understand that person's talking and you're just taking it in. They're just talking. And the more they're talking, you're able to understand that in the beginning, if you had started arguing, you might not have found out that they were upset about something that you couldn't even control. That had nothing to do with you. They might not be upset with you at all. Or they might not be upset about that situation. It might be the long hours at work. It might be the boss. It might be the kids. It might be the dog. It might have been a school. It might have been a car. It might have been traffic. But when you're listening to understand, you got a hand up, because now you're going to figure out everything that they're trying to get across. And then you'll really figure out the root to the reason why you guys are having a conversation in the first place. Because it's the response that elevates me. You got to say this to yourself. It's the response that elevates me over exposing me. Because elevation comes from listening. That's a discipline. It's discipline. It's discipline in just listening. Try it. It's easier to just respond to somebody as opposed to just listening to what they have to say. As much as I talk on Wake Up CEO, if I'm in a conversation with somebody, I'm usually not saying much. I'm usually listening 90% of the time. Because the biggest thing is I'm trying to understand what their situation is. Or what they need to feel better about their circumstance. One more time. We could be having a conversation about something that I might have done that offend. But because I'm the type of person who wouldn't have intentionally done it, then I need to understand how I offended. But I'm always looking to understand. So I listen. Like today, I'm going to tell y'all a question. Excuse me. I had a conversation earlier today. And earlier today, I felt that I was dropping something heavy on that person. So I stopped and I just let them talk. I said, so how did that make you feel? They went on to tell me for about another hour about how that made them feel. I only asked one question between that whole hour conversation. Because I wanted to understand how what I said affected them. And to make sure that I understood how it affected them. But I also was conveying the message to them that was going to help them grow. Because the whole point of the call was to help them grow. And sometimes your message is lost in your delivery. Take a second on that, CEOs. Have you ever had a conversation with somebody and they misunderstood what you were saying to them? Not because of their comprehension level, but because of what you said to them. It was accepted not in the way in which you intended. It might have been an inflection of your voice. It might have been that it ran on with some other part of the conversation. Or it might have been that they were in their feelings about something and what you said struck a nerve. But all of that means that at the end of the day, that you're taking a second opportunity to listen, learn, and figure out. You're looking to understand. Because when you're looking to understand, then you're able to hear that differently. Have you noticed that you have a lot of relationships that might have you guys separated just because you didn't understand how they felt and they didn't understand how you felt? Communication is an art. There are classes being taught on it. Body language, tonality, word choice. One of my close friends has a very robust vocabulary. And she will use words that an individual will feel that, are you trying to talk over my head? Because those words are not used in an everyday conversation. However, because she has such an extensive vocabulary, she uses these words often in the circle that she's in. So when she's talking to someone else, she has to remind herself sometimes to bring the conversation to another level or use a different word for those conversations. And it's not saying that someone can't understand the word. It might be a technical term that someone is not familiar with. And sometimes people can't get the context within the sentence or what the words are said after. So the meaning of that conversation has went left just because the other individual doesn't understand the words in which you're delivering it on. Those are unintentional. But this is, we're talking about how to elevate past the ego. Because so when you accept that it's a possibility that your message was not received in the manner in which you intended, you can set yourself up for success by listening to understand where the disconnect was so you can deliver the message that you need. So we got people checking in. I appreciate y'all checking in. Dr. C says competition is futile and a hindrance to authentic growth. Absolutely. We got the queen of romance in the building, Natalie R. Murphy. And that R stands for Romance Junkie. Guys, get locked into her 11 books. Natalie, drop it down here. And I'm pretty sure the name of her website is www.natsbooks.com. But Nat put it down there so they can be able to get to it. That's what that tells you. I'm all about celebration, man. Celebration. Even though the website, and I bought and my wife bought her books in person. So I even know the website. And then we had, guys, this is Seant'a, as we were saying about, we were just talking about her book. Most people don't listen to understand. They listen to respond instead of truly listening to what the person is saying to them. Absolutely. We were just talking about your book a couple of moments ago, and her book is Being Pretty is Hard Work. Y'all got to get locked into these award-winning authors here, man. She holding up that book proudly. At the end of the day, guys, we're celebrating excellence. I appreciate the authors for joining me today. And while they're joining me and they're checking in with how we're owning, how we elevating, each of us have a area in which we're elevating in. It's not always business. It's a business of our lives. That's why I'm talking to CEOs. Because it's not about being a CEO of a company. It's about being CEO of the most important company. The most important company is your life, your well-being, your mindset, your growth, your expectations on your life. That's who I be talking to. I'm talking to the board members of the CEOs. All right. So I messaged it was natbooks.net. There it is. So there it is, guys. You guys want to get checked locked in with Natalie? That is www.natsbooks.net. Messed up that net to come, but I've got it in my mind now, Nat. She has amazing romance novels. She is a multi-award-winning author from several different award ceremonies. She is an awesome individual in general. She has a program to help writers write and get their books together. Guys, at the end of the day, you got to get locked into individuals who are looking for success. And as we had Dr. C who checked in, if you guys are not already aware of who Dr. Carolyn Stevens is, she is the CEO of BHC Media, BHC Consulting Publishing. She helps authors bring their books not only to life, but bring their books to create a platform. She is my mentor when it comes to my book, that as well as my publisher of the third install of the Epic Collection, which is called Freedom Has GPS, Set Your Destination to Success. And her program is called the Authors Accelerator, accelerating your growth. Dr. C, drop down there where they can get locked in with you. If you guys are looking at this on Facebook or YouTube, you can go to her Facebook handle right now and go ahead and DM her to get locked in as an author who is looking to and getting set to publish your next book. She provides guidance, growth, tips. I just got my tips last weekend. This week in the email of some phenomenal tips that are already now inside my tool belt. When you're looking to grow, develop, you need to make sure you step into getting mentors, coaches, people to help you along the way. And we have two phenomenal people on the line on here right now who can help you get your books out there and get them out there successfully. She helps you with promotion, all of those good things. And next December, all of you guys are invited to the event of the year. We're going to do an event of the year next December 31st. I know I'm talking about it a whole year in advance, but December 31st next year, we're doing the actual book launch party for the third installment, and it will be right here in the Chicagoland area. We're looking at 2 venues currently, and BHC Publishing Company will be heading that up. Thank you very much, Dr. C, for helping me out with the next step in the process. So get locked in. So that is about when you guys are celebrating each other. You're working together. And when you're growing, sometimes these tips that I drop are not all that are necessary. Sometimes we need more information and more guidance. And it's okay to get it. Don't talk to a friend who's never done what you're trying to do about your plans for the next level. Well, we tend to do this, guys. And I got to say this. That's an ego thing. That's another ego thing. We want to talk to people who have never done what we want to do and want them to support our growth, as opposed to talking to someone who can help you grow. How fast are you waiting? How long are you willing to wait? If you're willing to wait for you to learn every single thing about a subject to grow, when you can get someone to help you grow quicker, guys, I'm paying every single time. I'm a transparent person. I swiped my credit card when I was sleeping on a couch. I was homeless. I swiped my credit card and had to borrow $20 to eat that week for growth. It was a well-made investment. I want to say that, guys. It was a well-made investment, but I am such a person who's about growth that I have been in several programs. And it's all about what stage I am in my life, but it's all about the stage you are in your life when you make the decision. Okay, if you're looking to, let's say that you start off, you're like, okay, I'm just looking to be able to get some guidance because I'm lost right now. There's a certain person that can get you to that level. Once you get where you're no longer lost and you're ready to actually start excelling, there's another type of coach you might need for that. As once you get to that plateau and your business, let's say you're starting a business and your business is flourishing and you're looking to grow your business to $100,000 business, that's a different type of coach. Unless your coach, unless the person that you're working with has skill sets and all those things. And I've had several coaches over the years because that's how you grow. You grow. I want expeditious growth. So I will pay the cost to let someone else's mistakes be my teacher. Say that again for the people in the back. Let their mistakes be the teacher. Because the many mistakes and the many roadblocks that I have, I learned how to get over them. Why not help another individual do the same? Where they don't have to make those same mistakes. People say, well, I'm going to tell you, this is the ego. The statement I'm about to make next is the ego. Everyone's got to learn. That's your ego. Yes, you have to learn, but at what expense? How many years are you going to take to learn the lesson when you could have paid someone $200, $300, $500, whatever their course or class or whatever it is to learn? We go to school for 12 years mandatory to learn how to do math and read a book and write. There's a lot of more classes out there, but the things that we do in our life after that are rudimentary math and writing and comprehension. Not saying that the other classes are, guys, I'm not giving school a hard time. Not saying that the other classes are useful, but I'm just making note of that's what I use on an everyday basis. I write, I read, I add up numbers all the time. And I utilize what I will say that I got to say this about schools. The ability to research and teach you how to research. I learned all of that from being in school. And researching different faucets and not because we didn't have the internet back then, aging myself a little. We didn't have the internet at that point. So I had to go to the library every time I wanted to learn something new. Or when I was trying to figure something out. When we had those research papers, when we had to do a 20-page synopsis of a subject, where you got 10 books on the table and you're reading from this book, you get a piece of information from there and you're referencing that information because you couldn't cut and paste. There wasn't a cut and paste thing going on because you couldn't find that book on the internet because there wasn't no internet. You had to actually refer in reference to volume 1, book ABC. That's how your papers were written. Guys, I know. I'm dating myself, but that's okay. But I love that because to this day, my youngest will call me and say, hey, how do I find A, B, C, and D? They got the World Wide Web. My youngest will definitely validate what I'm saying. And I find it in less than 60 seconds, less than a minute. I find the answers, send over the link or whatever that is, because I have the art of research. I know how to discern that information on the World Wide Web. You know how much information is out there? But guys, we're not going to dive into that. We're going to just get back to how we elevate past ego. And that's what I'm talking about right now. That's what the whole point of that my youngest doesn't hold on to the fact that they don't know how to find something. They say that they have to learn to research better. That's when you let go of your ego. Because just because it's the World Wide Web don't mean I can get to the answer quick. Just because there's a chat GPT doesn't mean that I know the correct prompt. Just because it's AI tools doesn't mean I know the correct AI tool that's going to help me do this. It's really taking the opportunity to understand more about you. Yeah, Natalie Tribe checked in. Research is key. Absolutely. Now, hey guys, I'm gonna give y'all a quick story. This is a funny story, and I had a quick. My ego was in it. That's why I'm telling it. There was a young man. Him and I were having a conversation, and he was saying, "Who's the smarter generation?" I usually don't indulge in these conversations because that means I have to prove a point. So the young man was like, "Our generation is smarter than yours." And I think he was like 22. And he said, we're smarter. We have more access to technology. We have more access to information. We have more of this, more of that. We can find something that's drop of a dime. So this is what I asked him. I said, you have access to all the information. Okay. What's 2 times 2? He said 4. What's 4 times 4? 16. We went on like this for a couple of minutes. 64. So we were 16 times 16, 132. So we went on and went on for a minute. Then we got to a problem that he had to pull out his calculator. And I had to answer. And I told him, I said, the difference isn't the fact of the information. The difference is how quickly you can get the answer. You're going to take a couple of moments to get to the app to find out the answer. The reason why I can get to the answer quicker, because let me give you the reverse engineering, because I am very versed in square root. So I was able to get to the answer a little quicker because I know the formula is already in my mind. Because it wasn't basic, he had to go get the calculator. Next thing him and I did, one more time, I'm being honest, this is not about me being smarter, because I'm not. I just study different. Everyone has the ability to absorb information and retain it in different ways. There's certain things that I'm very bad at. So we were talking about certain things, certain books. And he was talking about, yeah, we learned this in school and this in school and this in school. I said, okay. If you had to write a paper right now on the last book you read, what was the last book you read? So he named the last book. And he said, yeah, I will grab out the computer, So I said, okay, how about this? I'm gonna grab a sheet of paper, and we were there for like about 2 hours, guys. Him and I were going back and forth for about 2 hours. So we were writing about the book. I said, so the book, this was a book for school. So I think if I remember correctly, this was Moby Dick. Guys, I want y'all to hear me good. I fell asleep reading Moby Dick like 5 times in high school. I didn't finish that book till in my 30s. I fell asleep every time reading Moby Dick because from the sheer fact of that he was out there with that whale so goddamn long. It made me so upset when I was a kid. So we were talking about Moby Dick. So he is going to talk about, he's going to do the Cliff Notes version. The first thing the young man did was pulled out his phone to get the Cliff Note version of Moby Dick so he could write his paper. He said, see, I can get this way, and I put it all together, and I put it here. I said, you read Moby Dick. Why do you need a Cliff Note version? And I'm going to tell you what he said to me. This is the funny part, guys. He said, they say you don't have to remember anything that you can look up. I paused because he was right. And it wasn't about being right or wrong. It was just us having a conversation. But I retain a lot of information in my mind. That means that I store a lot of information. So when new information comes in, our mind's like a computer. We absorb everything. We absorb things that we don't even notice that we absorb. But the young man said that I can just go get the Cliff Note version and I can, and then I can write my paper from the Cliff Note. He did not say he was going to copy it. He said he was going to look at the Cliff Note version and then write his paper, which means he was going to read the highlights of the book and then write his paper from there. Now, the whole point of this is that my ego was like, you guys have it easier. So that's the ego. We feel that I'm not gonna put this all on my generation. I'm not gonna throw all y'all out here 40 pluses. I'm not gonna do y'all like that. Even though I do have lots of conversations about the younger generation. Him having the Cliff Note version means that he's gonna read that and come up with a paper. His paper is going to be way more accurate than mine from a memory of a book that I read 15 years ago. Now, does it make it right that he got the Cliff Note version and he wouldn't be able to remember it? There isn't a right or wrong there. It goes about as 2 different ways to get to the same outcome. We're both going to turn in a paper. And both of us are going to give different points of view because he's going to have a more refreshed point of view because I'm not going to reread that book to give my report. So that is all about when we're dropping our ego, we can elevate. Because in all honesty, I didn't even know a Cliff Note version of it even existed because I don't use the web for those kind of purposes. So in that opportunity, me listening and being open to understand, because I asked a question, because if you guys heard me, I asked him a question about the Cliff Notes. Because I'm always open to listening, growing, and developing. And now I know there's a Cliff Note version of the books. And sometimes you need a Cliff Note version. Like for me, I read a lot. But I also am reading to understand certain passages and certain things about a subject. And if there was a Cliff Note version of the books that I'm reading, does that mean that I missed the important pieces? Because I also, with a Cliff Note version, is what someone else deems important of that book. So that's me. That's me with my ego coming up with the excuses about why what he's saying isn't right. I told the story just to make sure that you guys understand that when we want to validate our point, you can always find a way to validate what you're doing or what you want to see happen when it doesn't happen the way that you expect for it to. So that's why we're in ownership piece. We're going to own the fact that the young man had a very good idea, that I had a very good idea, and both of us are going to accomplish and reach a goal. Two different ways, same outcome. Same goal, two different ways. His generation isn't smarter than my generation, and and our generation isn't smarter than his. We both go about utilizing our intelligence differently. He is utilizing the tools that he has, and I'm utilizing the tools that I have. And that is the whole point. At the end of that, I shook his hand and I was like, man, that was a really good idea. I appreciate the knowledge. And how I elevated from that conversation is that I was open to the knowledge. This is when you owning it. When you owning your direction, you can own and rise when you let go of who you were to become who you are. In that conversation with that young man, I was letting go of the archaic ways of just reading book after book after book on a subject. And understood there's a Cliff Note version of these subjects. So what I did is very ironic. A couple of weeks later, is that there's 4 books that I wanted to understand a clear point about something. So the 4 books, I put all 4 of them in ChatGPT. I'm not opposed to check technology. So I put all 4 of the books in ChatGPT and said, can you give me a synopsis on this subject? I wanted a synopsis because I'm looking, there's some specific information. I said, I need a synopsis on all the key points about this, and this. I'm working on understanding how marketing works, guys. Hey, I'm marketing the 3rd book of my epic collection. Of my epic collection is the 3rd book of Freedom Has GPS. So I don't know a lot about marketing, so I wanted to understand more. So to understand more, I got Cliff Note versions of those 4 books. I'm going to read now the Cliff Note version. I got to be honest, guys. This Cliff Note version is like 120 pages. I was like, I might as well read all the books. Because all of the books together are a total of like 215 pages. But because I was asking specific information, this is when you understand your prompt. I asked specific information about the subject. I was asking the difference between social media marketing, and I'll ask some specific questions. That's when you're clear. When you're clear, you know what to ask. When you're empowered, you start asking. And when you own it, you understand that, okay, this is the result I got. Do I need all that information or do I only need part? So this is why we owning the rise and we letting go of who we were. And that young man helped me do that. Now, I'm going to be honest. What I decided to do was read all 4 books. I got to be honest. Because the Cliff Note version was mixing ideologies in there, and I couldn't discern where they fit into the book. and how they fit into the process. So it didn't work for me on that page, but maybe if I had to do it one by one, I might have get a better result. I was looking to do a cheat code, act like we playing video games back in the day. But elevation requires you leaving behind your old habits. So the old habit of me going to the library, getting those 4 books, I still reverted and I got 2 of the books right now, and the other 2 are on Audible. I ordered one of the books for because I have a total of 13 books in the series that I'm trying to read. And so I ordered the books from the library and told them and gave them the date I want them, which is in 3 weeks. I read a book a week. But you have to release the things so you can to prove that you're right. I didn't have to be right. You don't have to be right. You're looking to grow. And with growth, it's not a right or wrong. With growth is understanding that where you are isn't where you want to be. We have to acknowledge sometimes that to be the better version of ourselves, that we have to step up into that better version of ourselves. And we have to be okay that the old version of us did not help us. That has helped, let me rephrase, has helped us get to where we want to go, but not to where we are looking to be. Those are 2 different scenarios. So now we're going to get to my favorite part of the show, guys. If you have not known, we're going to get to that leadership. Three-point play that is powered by Say I'm Possible Academy, where self-leadership gets GPS. Play 1. See yourself honestly. You can't grow into your legacy as a hero if you're still defending the habits of your past self. Ego clouds clarity. Ownership creates vision. Play 2. Choose growth over comfort. Real empowerment comes from when you stop needing to be right and start needing to be better. Play 3. Step into the hero your legacy is waiting on. Your legacy isn't built by ego. It's built by discipline, humility, consistency, and courage. That is the leadership 3-point play that was powered by Say I'm Possible Academy, where self-leadership guys gets GPS. Man, this was another phenomenal show, guys. I had some phenomenal comments out there. Hold on, we had some more people that chimed in. And at the end of the day, I appreciate everybody. We had Natalie in here. We had Selah Brooks. If you guys are not locked in to Selah, he said, love this topic. He has a name of his brand is Stronger Version Media. If you guys are looking for a coach to help your brand grow, he is that coach. That is my coach for my brand awareness of my vlog campaign, which is coming up soon. You guys are going to see it. Author Hustle. He is helping me create a short version of vlog. I am appreciating his tips, his tricks, because at the end of the day, guys, I didn't even know what a vlog was, but that's all right. At the end of the day, guys, I'm learning, growing, and developing, and getting coaches to help set that up. As I said, I'm a leadership coach. I don't know. That doesn't mean I have all the answers to all these other things. I know how to help your business grow, how to help you structure your business, how to get your circle of genius to make money. I did the same with Selah Brooks, and in reciprocity, right now, him and I are working with helping me get that vlog set up, get locked in, get ready. It's coming to you guys in like January, February. We're gonna get that locked in. So I always appreciate everyone coming to join me right here on Wake Up CEO every single Wednesday from 3 to 5 p.m. on my radio, Chicago. I want y'all to go out and support District Radio. I am not the only show on the network. I am a phenomenal show on the network, but there is also some phenomenal hosts that come on after me and come on all during the week. So go to supportdistrictradio.com /station /Chicago and get locked into the personalities that are right here on the radio station that we already know that it is already more than radio. And my final words of the day, guys, final words of the day are when you are ready to elevate without ego, step into the person that you are looking to be. Understand that the person that you were has allowed you to become the brilliant, resilient person you are today. Take those lessons that you've learned and start getting guidance to the best version of you. And until next time, CEOs, right here next Wednesday on My Radio Chicago, I want y'all to be up, out, and moving to the greatness we all know lies within who? You. See you guys next week right here.
My questionnaire. The questions were just very exact and to the point of what I needed. And when I met with her in my one-on-one session, I found it to be very profound.
Excited for this. This is something I really need and something I've been looking for a while.
Dismantling is an assessment. Like, it asks questions that make you think deep about what you want your life to go. Dismantling is an assessment.
The 10-week financial focus plan she gave me helped me to see it in a better way where it would make money.
It was basically a reality. Something that looked like a dream, but in reality, it was nothing but a shift of mindset. It's a state of mind.
Out and moving to the greatness we all know lies within who? You CEOs. See you next week, right here on CEO State of Mind.